What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here. All right, here's my spoiler review for Black Widow. Yeah, that's right. Not going to go over everything again. If you want to watch my regular review, of course, that is on the channel. You can see what I overall thought. Like I said, it's just a run-by-the-numbers Marvel movie. It wasn't anything like too spectacular. But there is something that, in the spoiler review that we'll be talking about that kind of excites me. I'm just going to pretty much jump into it and just talk about the spoilery stuff, not go over like the whole goddamn movie. So it starts off where we see a young Natasha riding a bike through a neighborhood in Ohio in like 1995, what it looks like. And then, of course, we get there, we see young, what's the sister's name? Totally drawing a blank. Yelena, sorry. Who becomes Florence. Pew, 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 pew. Good casting on the young Natasha. They did really good. I mean, it looked like a young Scarlett Johansson. So what's interesting about it is you kind of get thrown off, which I was kind of going, wait a minute, that's kind of cool because I was like, wait, trailers, Russian accents, why don't they have Russian accents? But apparently they're, we're undercover doing some kind of thing for 3 years. And at first you're kind of going, okay, is this like her actual family or what's going on? But then come to find out that it's time for them to get out. And yeah. So, but it's just kind of weird because you would think, because they talk, maybe because they're always being, I don't know. Or they're just really good at being spies. So they just keep the American accents. Because you'd think that when they're inside the home, they would just speak with the Russian accent. I don't know. It's like Batman in Dark Knight and he goes, that's what that feels like. It's like, dude, nobody's around. You don't have to do the voice. So they leave on a little propeller plane from Ohio to Cuba. I'm guessing they probably had to fuel up maybe a couple of times. Yeah, we come to find out that, yes, this is what's going to happen. And then the two girls get taken off by our antagonist, which, very forgettable, Dreykov, it's Russian, but yeah, they get taken off, even though, you see you see partly that David Harbour's character, he kind of just is like, hey, these were my girls for like at least 3 years. So anyways, we fast forward, and then of course we're in not present day, and like I said, this is where the movie suffers the most, is the fact that it's wedged right between. It's not even like it bridges, it just kind of wedges right there. It doesn't really add anything really else to the Infinity War saga. It's just, this is why I think I walked out kind of going, because it just doesn't feel like it's really has its place anywhere, because we get back there, and then of course William Hurt, what's his nuts, man, I'm totally just drawing him. What's William Hurt's character? Secretary Ross. Jeez, there it is. And I really thought they were gonna start really going, hey, and maybe I missed something, and I got to watch some videos that have Easter eggs. But I thought they were gonna really tease some more, some Thunderbolts things. But whatever. Maybe that's gonna be the newer stuff. But so we have him, of course, and he's going after her because of the Accords and all that stuff, because there's a lot of mention of the other characters in this movie, like quite a bit, where I was kind of going, geez, they're just gonna, is a lot of the dialogue just gonna be mentioning that she's an Avenger and she was working with Captain America, Thor, Iron Man? I was going, okay, I hope this is not the whole thing. No, it wasn't the whole time. Like, again, they could give Vin Diesel a run for their money because they talk about family a lot. So we got Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, who is a widow, and they're all basically, they're all hypnotized by by a certain drug or something that this Dreykov guy does. And then when they go after somebody, they have like essentially the cure that just psh, boop, whop, I'm fixed. I mean, really, Natasha, all she had to do was just kick them in the head. Worked for Hawkeye when he was under the spell of Loki. But this is different. It's not magic. So they team up, and now, they got to find the Red Room. Which ends up being, obviously you think of a Red Room, and we got it teased at first, and it seemed like this, obviously this place was, man, I tell you what, even though Age of Ultron has a lot of misses in there, but man, I was actually walking away going, I want to see the backstory of Natasha and how she came to be and what happened there. You don't see any of that. They gloss over it through the opening credits, and I'm going, what the fuck? They could have did something very compelling and interesting with her character, showing like the origin, showing her go through all that, and they could have jumped back and forth. They could have cut out some of the fucking all the card chasing and the kickity-kicks and the falls that everybody just walks away perfectly unscathed from. They could have just did something pretty cool, but no, Marvel formula. We come to find out that, of course, that's not really her family. They're all, not even Yelena knows who her actual mom is. We hear about how yeah, pretty much there was a sum of money given to Natasha's mom, and then, to basically get taken away and everything like that, and then she got killed by this Dreykov guy. And anyway, so then when it comes to them all getting back together again, I mean, yeah, there's some cool stuff where it's like some misdirection. They do the hologram face thing with of course Scarlett and Rachel Weisz, which is cool. I like that. I like when it's stuff like that. It's it's Mission Impossible, but a little more sophisticated. There's a scene at the end though when it's like, okay, so she can't kill Dreykov because there's something about the pheromones that he wears that stops the girls from turning on him. So what does she do? She severs the nerve at her nose to basically, I guess she can't smell. And I mean, she, after getting like punched and, I mean, it's a pretty interesting scene because the guy's like slapping her and punching her and stuff like that. And then she slams her head on the fucking, I mean, it's like, I'll give him props for like showing like that was pretty intense. But at the same time, I'm going, okay, so now when I watch Infinity War and Endgame, she can't smell now? Maybe she got it fixed. Who knows? But, I don't know how she would. I mean, she's kind of always on the run, even in Infinity. Anyways, so that was kind of interesting. So, of course, they bring back, of course, the Red Room. It can't just be somewhere like underground. It's got to be up in the fucking sky. So then they can have this crazy ending where it's blowing up and things are falling like crazy. And then they have to do this crazy free fall stuff. Oh, man. I mean, you got the Red Guardian, David Harbour, which, he was just like the big joke of the whole thing. After they broke him out of prison, they have that whole sequence, which was, all right. Sure, that's fine. There also is a funny moment, too, where, I mean, it becomes like meta, almost like how F9 did, where Yelena makes fun of Natasha for doing like her normal little landings where she, one leg is out and she bends one leg and then does the little like flip up thing. I mean, it's funny because, Florence Pugh just nails it, like the way that she even like does it. It's pretty funny. But then they keep running with the joke, like the poser joke, and then she ends up doing it at the end, and and she goes, it was just like, no, it was perfectly fine when she made fun of it in this one little scene right here, but she didn't have to keep doing it. So anyways, yes, the Red Room's coming down, everything's falling down, and Yelena looks like she's going to sacrifice herself. Scene's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. You got Natasha going, no, don't do it. And it's just, the green screen looks bad. She like jams like the fucking Black Widow, javelin or, whatever the fuck weapon right into like the rotor, and she blows backwards, but then of course Natasha saves her by doing, a crazy little free fall thing with a fucking parachute. And, it's all fine and dandy and whatever. And of course they kill the bad guy. But like I said, it was like, forgettable. But then, of course, we have Taskmaster, which I haven't got to yet, and I know as I'm recording this, I mean, today, it was trending because, well, people are saying it was worse than the Mandarin reveal, and yeah, the Mandarin reveal didn't bother me. I can understand why it bothered Iron Man fans. Didn't bother me. I thought it was actually okay. But this was, man, that was bad. Because, well, I mean, Taskmaster is Dreykov's daughter that Natasha thought she blew up a long time ago. They show that little flashback. That's always haunted her. But yeah, she's alive, and of course she reveals herself, which is Olga. What's her name? Like looking at and she's not even listed here on the main. Anyways, I've talked about. She was in Quantum of Solace. She was actually the short list of Wonder Woman. But yeah, it's revealed that it's her, and I talked to some people that went, oh, yeah, I guessed that right away. I went, no, I didn't, because Taskmaster was built like a dude. This actress is probably tall, but not exactly, So it kind of was going, oh, wow, it went there. All right, that's perfectly fine. Whatever, It's an interesting choice. It is, I get it. It's difficult to try to cram as much as they can from like the source material and be like super legit to the source material. That's why I think they're nailing it with the TV shows. And when it comes to like Loki and all that, they have so much more time to breathe and just kind of flesh things out. And this, they really can't. So, I mean, it's just a lame villain, pretty much. I mean, it's a villain that's just being hit, totally mind controlled and just kicks a lot of ass and mimics all this other stuff. And it was kind of cool when you saw the trailer. You kind of go, "Whoa, that's interesting," because he's doing like the Black Panther thing. He's got a bow and arrow like Hawkeye. It was all kind of interesting, but then the payoff. Post credit. All right, so this is where I was going. Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued here. This is where I'm getting kind of going. Okay, I think there's going to be probably some kind of announcement that might happen after this weekend or whatever the hell. But post credit is, of course, Yelena showing up to Natasha's grave. It's present day. Saddened that she is dead, of course. And then out of nowhere, Valentina, which she got introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, where she just shows up blowing her nose. It's just kind of weird because, like, did she just sneak up on a spy? So she shows up and basically goes, "Hey, if you want to hunt down the person that killed Natasha, well, here he is." And of course, it's Hawkeye. So I was like, "Oh, that's intriguing. I could see where that goes." But at the same time, I don't think I can really go too many places because it's like, no, we know how she died. It wasn't like, I don't see how that could really go too far. I don't know how they plan on pulling it off, but the thing that intrigues me the most is the fact that all the other widows, that's going to be happening. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Florence Pugh star in her own Black Widow series or something like that, and she's going around trying to free all the widows or continuing to free the widows, and maybe they'll have something too where I don't know if like she'll show up in Hawkeye. There's a possibility of that. That's probably what's going to happen. She's going to show up in Hawkeye, but it'd be kind of interesting for her if there was like a series based on the widows, and that's, I don't know, that's what they should do. That's what they should have did with Black Widow, to be honest, to really just dive into her origin and everything. But I'm intrigued by that. I'm like, okay, so maybe they'll announce something like that and just announce a show called Widows or Black Widows. I don't know. I think that could be a possibility, and it could star Florence Pugh. I don't know. Or maybe there'll be a movie. I'm not sure what they plan on doing with it, but it was intriguing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't think they're going to go too far when it comes to her tracking down Hawkeye and stuff like that. I think, I think he's got plenty of backup of like, hey, I can't really show you because we were like in this crazy dimensional type, planet thing where there was a dude with a red skull. It'd be tough to explain, but still, it's like, I don't know where they plan on going with all that. But anyways, there you have it, guys. That is my spoiler review of Black Widow. Like I said, it's a forgettable movie in my eyes. I think they should have, I don't think it was like ready to go like phase 1, phase 2, probably when they started teasing. Now that I think about it, phase 2 is probably where they should have did it. They should have placed it, and I think they should have really delved into the origin and stuff because they were kind of doing that in Age of Ultron. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think, but I just don't think it was a good send off for ScarJo. That's for damn sure. I think Endgame was good because she literally sacrificed herself, but kind of like dampens it a little bit. Anyways, there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. Hit that like, thumbs up, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, of course, too. And then if you want to become a member, do that. Become a member. You get some perks, some members only vlogs and stuff, or the Patreon. Take part in the Patreon stuff that is down below. And then, of course, merchandise in the Film Junkie Closet. All right, guys. Talk to you later.